He is now more like a political prisoner. I tell you something. The longer Nnamdi Kanu is in prison, the taller he becomes. And the shorter the government becomes.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on wherever you are watching us from. It's another national politics on the street. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel, like our videos, share, comment for more political discourse. Yesterday, Kenneth OkONKWO has come out to say that the longer Nnamdi Kanu remain in detention, the taller he becomes, and the shorter the government of the day becomes. We've seen that the Southeast Senator, in person of Senator Nnamdi have come out to say that Madam Kanu has accepted to drop the Biafra agitation and then embrace one Nigeria so that he could be left off the hook. These are the two questions we want to get your response from, sir.
Well, beautiful question. Thank you for having me wherever you're watching us from. Anywhere you're watching us, it's a beautiful day here in the center of Israel. And of course, a part of Africa. I'm not going to mention the name of the country where I am reporting, going to feast on and digest on this issue this morning. This is a very beautiful topic, and we are going to look at it from different perspectives. So if you're online, if you're watching this video, make sure you share it. You know, it's going to give an insight over government propaganda surrounding Nnamdi Kanu's personality and release. You know, coming on that angle, you know, and let me take on Kenneth OkONKWO, you know, trying to describe the man of the moment. You know, when we talk about Nnamdi Kanu, you know, a certain consciousness, you know, it grips your mind, you know, a certain relief grips your mind, a certain hopes come to your mind, a certain justice comes to your mind, you know, a form of, you know, hope, you know, and purpose, you know, creeps into you. Nnamdi Kanu has become the consciousness of so many Nigerians today. The surroundings, you know, the developments surrounding Nnamdi Kanu today shows that, you know, people has continued to Biafranize their conscience based on the failure of the federal government. And that is why today somebody like Kenneth OkONKWO, you know, came out and told the whole world that the more you continue to keep that man in prison, the more Nigeria continue to go down to the well. They say, don't let this nation fall inside well. Somebody's using it to sing. But unfortunately, you know, Nigeria is not falling inside well. Nigeria is diving into the well.
Nigeria is diving into
yes. And the only thing that can be seen as the only hope now, currently now, is the man who has come to rescue and educate and show that, you know, that there is nothing more than freedom, that Nigerians themselves are not even free in their own country. The bad elements that we saw in PDP are the ones now in APC. So the bad ones in PDP left PDP and formed APC. And that's why the whole thing is like this. Now, they are looking for somebody, you know, who can bring the consciousness of Nigerians together. The only prisoner of conscience, the only freedom fighter, the only man everybody is looking at, the only man who has, you know, endeared to the consciousness of millions of Nigerians from the north, from the west, from the east, is this man we are talking today. Is this man, Kenneth OkONKWO, has just mentioned his name today, talking about Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. He said, I repeat, the more you continue to keep Mazi Nnamdi Kanu there, the more he becomes popular, the more he becomes taller, the more Nigeria continue to go down completely. So, and that is why, you know, Tinubu now, currently now, in his own wisdom, as an extreme politician, you know what I mean by extreme, you know, and Tinubu puts everything at his tentacles, you know, when he wants to achieve anything. And the purpose of this now is very clear, that Nnamdi Kanu has become a rallying point for everyone and has become a subject of discussion. Nnamdi Kanu has become a rallying point where people that will determine, a factor that will determine the next generation of leadership in Nigeria. And that's why the element surrounding him is looking at the political calculation and forget the propaganda that Nnamdi Kanu is seeking negotiation, that Nnamdi Kanu is asking federal government. Nnamdi Kanu has never for one day ask federal government for negotiation. What happened? That's why I said that people should share this video. What happened is that the Court of Appeal Act, listen, allows warring parties, both parties, to settle out of court.
Out of court.
How is it Nnamdi Kanu business? Why is it that they feel that Nnamdi Kanu is now bigger than even the federal government? Okay, of course, that's what Kenneth OkONKWO is trying to say now, and there's need, for federal government to leverage on that, order and law, to see how they can bring Nnamdi Kanu out of court, and of course settle out of court, knowing fully well that they cannot defeat Nnamdi Kanu even in their own court. And you can see the momentum now. Nnamdi Kanu has succeeded in dephranizing most Nigerians as I speak to you today. Everybody has suddenly become obedient. Nnamdi Kanu has attached the consciousness of Nigeria, to what the reality is. He can fake everything in life, but he cannot fake reality. The reality on ground is that the federal government cannot defeat Nnamdi Kanu in their court because Nnamdi Kanu is innocent. Nnamdi Kanu has not committed any crime. And his continued detention, has continued to, come up with a lot of pillars now. And Nnamdi Kanu is growing taller and taller and taller every day. Nnamdi Kanu has become a giant. Nnamdi Kanu has been seen, as a political theory, as a political philosophy that can be studied by the elements of APC ahead of 2027. And that is why that, as I'm talking to you now, Wike's life political career is at stake. Any moment from now, Tinubu is going to throw Wike out of FCT because his time has expired. Wike has expired completely. And if eventually he loses his political structure in Rivers State, of course, if Tinubu is not careful, it's going to affect him. In Kano too, the same thing. If Tinubu is not careful, it's going to affect him. And the Northerners, are building a solid fence against Tinubu's re-election, trying to, because of what's happening in Rivers State and Kano. And the only option is for the federal government to instigate a major campaign, using Nnamdi Kanu to make sure that at the end of the day he's able to get a block vote from the east. So it is a calculated campaign by the federal government to begin this agitation by to release Nnamdi Kanu because of political interest. So you can see that what Kenneth OkONKWO actually dished out in that regard is something that when you look at it deeply, you know that the agitation to release Nnamdi Kanu was an attempt, by the government, by the Tinubu-led administration to get a block vote from the east in case he loses Rivers State and of course Kanu at the same time. So he knows the game he's playing and he knows how to go about it. But
you've listened to what Senator Nnamdi said. Now, are you of the same view with what the senator said, that Nnamdi Kanu has accepted to drop the Biafra struggle and embrace one Nigeria?
Nnamdi Kanu have never said that, and there was no traces, there was no place that was written that Nnamdi Kanu said he's going to drop Biafra struggle. There was no place that it was written that Nnamdi Kanu made an statement that he's negotiating with the federal government to drop Biafra struggle. It has never been that. He has never said that.
So what
Engineer Abaribe, listen, what Engineer Abaribe is trying to say at that point in time is that a section, an act, an order, a law guarantees two parties to settle out of court, not Nnamdi Kanu.
Okay.
And that the federal government under Yanko is trying to, initiate that act of the appeal court that allows the both parties to settle out of court. And willingly, if the federal government are ready to do that, then they should forget all the foreign charges, not Biafra. They are talking about the charges, leveled against Nnamdi Kanu, all those terrorism charge, this and that, all those kind of things, should be thrown to and allow the guy go. He cannot commit any offense. But the issue of Biafra, like Voloshenko will say it, like anybody will say it anywhere, any day, is not negotiable. Not even with the federal government.
It's not negotiable.
It's not. Capital is not. how would I put it? It is not even with the, like someone will always say, you know, you can see, you know, he's also someone himself is also steaming, you know, powerfully this time around, telling you that no, he pledges his loyalty to Nnamdi Kanu. He expresses his support for the supreme leader of IPOB, the Indigenous People of Biafra. And at no point in time, I'm quoting Simon Ekpa now, that he will ever, you know, think of betraying Nnamdi Kanu. And of course, the data group or forum or whatever you can think, you understand? You know, a lot of people are beginning to talk about Nnamdi Kanu. The Afaruku youths recently came out and said that Nnamdi Kanu is in the lives of Nelson Mandela now, and you can see why the federal government is struggling to make sure that, you know, they're able to have Nnamdi Kanu, you know, because of what they are currently losing at the point in time. And the move by Southeast governors in that regard, the senators, you know, the House of Rep members, the Southeast caucus, Rep caucus are also pushing in that direction to make sure Nnamdi Kanu at the end of the day, you know, has a beautiful moment. You know what I mean by a beautiful moment? Walk out unconditionally, and that's what we are expecting. That Nnamdi Kanu will walk out unconditionally and step out, you know, to be celebrated as, you know, the man of the moment. Nnamdi Kanu remains the man of the moment. But no matter how Tinubu is a very smart player, Tinubu is a very smart politician, Tinubu is calculating powerfully as I speak to you now, because the failure to grab River State and Kanu, you know, at the end of the day, and completely losing vote from the East may likely affect the election ambition at the end of the day. And that's what is playing out.
And that's what is Thank you for that wonderful submission, Mr. Chinedu Michael. Thank you for that wonderful submission, sir.